What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. It's Tactical Tuesday. We're getting tacticals and stuff today with a bunch of stuff and things. You know how it goes. All that Tuesday stuff. Regularly scheduled episode today. We had a ton of events this weekend. The best armies in 40k video this week. It was a little low energy, I think, largely because it was kind of like mind-numbing to go through, just because of the sheer volume of events. We had 2 majors, a super major, a billion GTs. I think we went through 15 different events, or 15 lists, I think. It was, like, insane. The number of total lists was pretty nuts, and then a bunch of factions. Obviously, a lot of Space Marines, so that's something that we'll talk about a little bit today. Some housekeeping. I don't have an event up on YouTube for it this week, but or quite yet, but I should have it up later this evening, and I'll post it around. It'll be on the stream schedule in the Discord and on my calendar, which is linked in the video description. My streaming calendar, as well as I'll probably post it in the community tab as well. The Everwinter GT should be a major level event for 40k is this weekend. They have kindly asked me to come stream all weekend, so Saturday and Sunday I will be streaming that. I believe it's 5 rounds, so we'll be streaming 5 rounds of 40k between Saturday and Sunday. I'm super excited. My streaming setup looks sweet. If you watch my Battle Brothers coverage, I think that I don't know. We've made some pretty exponential leaps and bounds in terms of the level of coverage. So I'm super excited to stream that all weekend. I have a cat here who's standing on my keyboard, so that might end the stream prematurely. Okay, nope, maybe not. And yeah. Also, I do have a stream scheduled immediately after this. So over on the Purple channel, if you still want some 40k content injected directly into your eye holes, we're going to be doing a bit of a mind war. Thousand Suns versus Grey Knights is going to be the matchup du jour. So that should be a fun one. It seems really good for Grey Knights. Rubric Marines are very easy to kill for Grey Knights army, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So that should be a fun one. Please come hang out with me over on the Purple channel for that one. And that should be about it. Yeah. So that's what's going on. No Marines. Everybody leaves. Oh, no Space Marines at a 40k stream? I'm out of here. Yeah, so I think it's almost just personal preference. The Marine coverage over the last couple of weeks has been kind of like unending. It's not to the point, like, I want to be clear. I don't think Space Marines are broken by any stretch of the imagination. They're like, it's not like Aeldari or whatever, where Space Marines are winning everything. But Space Marines are a high enough volume and have enough sub-factions that, I mean, if we looked at the results from this past weekend, the undefeated list over the course of the weekend, it was like 35% Space Marines. Like 1 out of every 3 lists was a Space Marine list. And they're mostly like Iron Storms or Gladius Task Forces and stuff like that. So last week we talked for like half the stream about Space Marines. The last 2 weeks, like a lot of the best armies in 40k video has been about Space Marines. So what I want to do is just take a break from Power Armor. We've talked about, ever since World Championships Warhammer, we've talked a ton about Chaos Space Marines. We've talked a ton about World Eaters ever since Cali Cup. And we've talked a ton about Space Marines for the last couple of weeks. And so I think it's just going to be interesting to like really take a focus and put a microscope on the other factions in 40k that are kind of getting drowned out by all the Space Marine content. If you are super interested in Space Marines, we talked so much about them in last week's stream. We talked a ton about them in the last couple of videos about talking about top armies. It's like endless Space Marine content for you. so there is a ton of that. But obviously there are, 20 other factions in 40k. We'll probably not jump into Aeldari too much because I don't know if Aeldari is too exciting. Although I should mention the winner from Atlanta. I talked about it in my video on Monday, but the Atlanta Warzone Atlanta, is that right? Is that what it was? The Warzone Atlanta winner had a really cool Eldar list, and we can add another highlight to it. And that's something I appreciate. Like, Eldar's super strong, clearly, but where has my data gone? Here it is. All right, I almost lost all my stuff here. But the Hi, there's a kitty. Hey, Inky, you want to come be on stream? You thinking about it? There she is. Hi. Yeah, right into the microphone. That was nice. Here's a kitty. Say hi to everybody on chat. Hello. Yeah, the winner from Warzone Atlanta had a really cool Aspect Warrior themed list. And I think that's really interesting, and it's cool to highlight builds that are a little bit different than the normal, like, brick, you know, super unkillable avatars and stuff list that we typically see. So that's good stuff. Fun with the Tyranids deep dive? Man, would I love to give you a Tyranids deep dive. We also did a challenge list this past week, chat, and we took a W with it. So, but it was Space Marines also. So on top of that, I've also been playing quite a bit of Space Marines. So, might have a video about that. Probably not this week because of Everwinter, but maybe next week. If you liked my Snakes video that I released this past weekend, I'd like to do another one of those. That one did okay. It's like so much work. That video was like 30 hours of work probably. So those are a big undertaking, but they are super fun, and I think it's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. So we might have another one of those coming with a Space Marine list, which would be pretty funny. But I played that yesterday. The game was like kind of nutso. At one point, a single shot from a Lancer resulted in 4 units being destroyed, which is pretty different. The Snakes video was cool. All right, that's nice to hear, chat. I appreciate that. All right, should we dive into some lists? Let's hop into some not necessarily power armored lists. If I can do my transition over here, here it is. Let's go. So the Leicester Super Major, I think, is the big event to talk about. Obviously, this is like 200 players. It was a kind of a classic UKTC faction format where it cut to top 4 after 5 rounds. So you did unfortunately have these players here who were undefeated but didn't score high enough in their games to get to the top 4. And that's just unfortunate. So congratulations to Jack Tight is Skauki, by the way, from the Discord, who is a T5S2 invitational finalist, actually, who has moved to Adeptus Sororitas. He was on White Scars way back in the day in 9th edition, but usually likes playing these like faster armies. And this is an interesting list. Double Palatines. Double Palatine, double Dialogus. So we're running like the Wombo combo twice? Whoa, that's cool. And it is in... We do have a Dominion squad with Meltaguns. And I believe that the Dialogus can jump into the Dominion squad. Let's actually grab their data sheet real quick. I know that the Palatine can. That's actually, the Palatine has a 6-inch scout for some reason. And that's actually why it has a 6-inch scout, is so that it can join into a Dominion unit and it doesn't remove their scout. That's something that they forgot on the Phobos Librarian, a little interestingly. God, in the video I said we're not going to talk about Space Marines, I literally bring up a Space Marine in the first 5 minutes. I suck at this. The Phobos Librarian, if you can attach them to incursors, but they actually remove the incursor scout if you do so, which is weird because he himself doesn't have scout, he just has infiltrate. Yeah, so the Dialogus can attach into Dominions, so we can wombo combo out a 4 Meltagun Dominion squad. Although it doesn't get scout with the Dialogus, I guess. The Dialogus like removes it. That's a little funky. I mean, it seems fine. And then we also have 2 Battle Sister squads that we can also execute the combo on. 2 Immolators to join them into, a Rhino, probably for the, I don't know, maybe for the Arco Flashlands actually. 2 Crusader units, an Exorcist, 3 Exorcists. Now, can the Immolator split Dominions? I know that the combat squad ability is limited to units, to unit type. I always click on the wrong button when I'm looking at Immolators because, yeah, Battle Sisters, Dominions, or Sister Novitiates. So you can create a 4 Meltagun Dominion squad inside an Immolator. Whew! That's pretty spicy. Although you can't, to my knowledge, attach both the Palatine and the Dialogus to that combat squad, and then embark them in the Immolator, because the Immolator only has a transport capacity of 6. And that would be 7 models. But yeah, double Palatines, Triumph of St. Catherine, double Melta, Battle Sister Squads, the Emulator, Rhino, triple Arcoflagellants, which is kind of standard. These things are insane. +1 Castigator, 2 Crusaders for utility, a Dominion squad with the Meltaguns, 3 Exorcists. It's a little scary, actually. It's like that's a billion Meltas. And honestly, like, I think you might not even need the combo on the Dominions. Because you could just, like, you could just yeet 4 Meltaguns with rerolls into somebody, right? Because they'll get wound rerolls off of an Immolator shooting at them. And then if you don't attach any non-scout characters, they give the transport scout. So the, it's actually like super fast. It's kind of an alpha strike. What do the Immolators have? Just flamers. Oh, one has heavy bolters. Interesting. Oh no. Oh, one has meltas. Okay, yeah. So we can dump, including the multi-meltas on the Immolator, we can dump 6 rerolling Meltagun shots for 200 points or whatever. I guess Immolators are expensive. 235 points. Oof. That's a lot. With a pregame move and then disembark. Seems good. That seems good. Loved the snakes videos. Thought it was hilarious. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was really fun to do. I was getting really excited. I was in the patron chat over in the Discord, like throwing clips in. I was like, guys, look at these edits I made. I'm so proud of them. Also, issue with the Grey Knights Brotherhood champion taking scouts from strikes. Oh yeah, that's fair. Although, like, how often do you see Brotherhood champions, right? It feels like the only attachment characters are usually the Terminator guys, anyway. Crusaders. Yeah, Red Eyes. Yeah, they're super cheap. Adeptus Sororitas have access. I think I've said this before, and I'll die on this hill. I think they have the best utility units in the game. Like, maybe not Nurgling level. Like, Nurglings are super good, but they have 25-point Crusaders. They have 35-point Death Cult Assassins, which are, if you have the extra points to splurge on them, which you actually typically don't, are kind of nutso. They have 4 attacks each at AP 2 with fights first, and they reroll ones against characters. So, like, I think they're 35 points for 2. They're a little easier to kill, but they're faster, and they actually, they just, clear chaff infantry, all day. You know? What are you gonna do with a bunch of, idiot, cultists against these ladies? They're just gonna kill them all. That's super sick. The weapon skill 2 as well, Okay. But it's just a bunch of units that you throw into Strategic Reserve, and they pop off the sides and, score you all your teleport homers. They're super duper good. Are you correct that a Judiciary cannot attach to a Blade Guard with Apothecary or Lieutenant, only a Captain? I believe that is the case. Can pull over and open my super legit Space Marine Codex that I have. The double attachment for Space Marines is typically restricted to only Captains. So you can't combo everything together. But we can take a look at the datasheet real quick and make sure. That would be in the Judiciary datasheets. Where is that guy? Where's that man? Here he is. So he doesn't have a double detachment ability. So it would be on the Lieutenant then, right? Or the Biologus. I know that the Apothecaries specify Captain, Chapter Master, or Lieutenant. So you can only attach him if the unit already has one of those things. So you can't attach him and the Judiciary. And yeah, the Lieutenant, I believe, is the same way. He's restricted to attaching alongside a Captain. Yeah, Captain or Chapter Master. So you can't do it with every character. It is largely only Captains. Unless, I guess, it's the Apothecary with the Lieutenant. But I guess these mostly attach to the same units as Lieutenant, so I don't think they were worried about the Wombo combo going off too hard.
Why aren't zoanthropes snakes?
Ryan, that's a great question. It's because they have little tiny hind legs. Let's look. They're in a different position than Ravners are. Also, it felt like it was a betrayal of the theme, right? If you're like, oh, we're playing all the snakes, and you're like, when you think about a Tyranid snake, you're like, oh, Ravagers and Molochs. But being like, oh, it's a Zoanthrope, because technically he has a long tail. You're like, I don't know, it's boring. Also, Zoanthropes are bad. Who cares? Let me pull up a picture of a Zoanthrope. We could just look at Zoanthrope. They have little vestigial hind legs. Let's look at them. Here they are. Show me. What is this sketchy ass website? Oh my god. Big Zoanthrope picture. Look at these little tiny legs they have. Little baby legs right there. Little tiny babies. But Raveners use those to hit people with. The Zoanthropes don't do that. The Zoanthropes like they're supposed to be standing on them, but they aren't. That's my rationale anyway. I'm clearly willing to alter my rationale based on what's necessary for the unit, for the army, given that I included Neurolictors in that list. Which, to be fair, were very important, because I think I killed a tank commander because I had them, if I remember correctly. Although they did attack a Death Corps Marshal. I had 3 Neurolictor activations attacking a single Death Corps Marshal. He made every save. He took 2 damage, which is nuts. Absolute insanity. The Forge Road Malanthrope looks like a snake. Yeah, the Malanthrope has a much longer tail than the Zoanthropes. But the Malanthrope is unfortunately Legends, so I can't play it in tournaments. Yeah, like, this guy's much... His tail's like 5 times as long. I would say this guy's a snake for sure. For sure the Malanthrope qualifies. But it also is illegal, so oh well. Sucks to suck, Malanthrope. They were always kind of questionable anyway. They had, back in the day, they were characters, so you couldn't shoot them. But their aura was so much worse than Venomthropes that, like, wasn't even worth it. And then they gave up Assassination. It was, like, kind of awkward. Is my 11th with Zoanthrope server? Yeah, because they're like 1 billion million points. They're, like, way too expensive. I loved them when they were actually appropriately points costed, but now that they're, like... just, like, wildly overcosted, I'm not that interested. Like, you'd pay 180 points for 6 of them, and they would still do nothing. But at least they would do nothing and cost 180 points. And now they're, like, 200 plus, and you're just like... Great. Love this. Love this for a unit that just misses every time. Or, like, rolls 1s on its damage or whatever. The number of times I would get very close to losing games because, like, they would come off the side of the table and then just get just miss 5 times and fail to wound once, and I would just be like, all right, guys. You guys are super not worth it. A lot of orcs and X and 1 over here in Leicester GT, moving back to the list content over here. Whoa! Brian Sipe with the war bosses in mega armor. Look at this list. What is this? Triple mega armor war boss, triple mega knobs. He's like, guys, we're having trouble with Redemptor Dreadnoughts, or like 2+ save armor of contempt. Everyone gets a kill saw. Everyone's a kill saw now. 5 power claws on each knob squad. 15 kill saws on all the mega knobs, plus war bosses. This list rules. Plus trucks to carry them all. Oh my god. The trucks, what is the truck's capacity on mega knobs? They can put mega knobs in them, right? Yeah, they for sure can. They just count as 2, I assume. If I can find their data sheet. I really need to sort my data sheets better. I'm always embarrassed at the amount of time I spend looking for data sheets, so I can quote rules to people. Oh my god, I literally can't find the truck. Is this it? Nope, those are Def Compass. Alright, this is not worth anyone's time. But that's cool. That's a super sick list. 6-man Zoanthropes always do well for you? Well, I'm happy for you. My Zoanthropes don't. My Zoanthropes didn't go to... They haven't received their marksmanship badge yet. So they need to spend more time at the shooting range before they're allowed back in my list. It's just an inconsistent unit. They're just, like, so swingy on volume. Although if we see more like big squads, like we're kind of moving back to this point where we have like a cursed cultist in the metagame, like big Chaos Space Marine squads, like big squads of Corn Berserkers and big squads of Chosen. And if we see more of those, Zoanthropes might be back in, because their blast attack is actually super legit. The blast attack is kind of like, it's unironically sort of their best part. Which I know, I had some discussions with people beforehand, and I was like, well, you take them for the anti-tank, but the blast is like a nice unlock. And I think their anti-tank kind of sucks. But the blast attack is really legit. That list rules. Adam Gladder's also with Orcs. This one's a little bit more standard. 2 Nops and Smash the Squigs. One with the Kill Champa. The other one with Cunning but Brutal. That is Fallback, Shoot, and Charge. Feels like that one's okay. I think I've always seen this one come up. It always feels like it's relevant, but it never feels like something that you like auto include in your list. But it's usually because like the Kill Champa guy goes in first. The second guy's like backup, and then your opponent kills the Kill Champa guy because they have to get rid of the devastating wounds, but then the other dude is just like jumping in and out of combat constantly. Triple war bosses. Are we all in on knobs? Everyone's in on knobs today. Whoa. We really need the punching power, it seems like. So everybody's rocking the knobs. Can we pull up knobs real quick? Oh, that's a WA banner knob. That's not what I want. Give me the regular knobs. It's mega knobs. Yeah, -1 to wound, and then they all have 3 attacks, and you get to pick whatever profile you want. I guess you get the close combat weapon if you take a combi, but you're almost always on melee. Yeah, for melee forever. So it's either the 4+ to hit with the Power Claw. Once per battle, you can use an ammo run to get lethal hits. That's okay. On their sluggas, let's go. You don't even really want it on the combi weapons because it makes their attacks worse if they get a lethal. Because they're anti-infantry 4, so if you get a lethal hit, you can't trigger the anti-infantry 4 devastating. So it's like a 50-50 chance to make your attack dramatically less powerful. Oof, that's an oof, my guy. And then you can get +1 to hit for the big chop up, but you probably always take the Power Claw for the extra strength. Yeah, you need the crack armor. And they're just -1 to be wounded. Idiots. Just big T5 -1 to wound. What a profile. For 21 points a model? It might be even a little pricey, but if you compare these guys to Plague Marines, they don't feel quite as good, but they definitely seems like they're doing work. 2 Squig Hug Boys, 2 Storm Boys for support. Pretty straightforward. Triple Gretchen on this one. Oof. And Flash gets with Captain Badrock. Good stuff. Can we look at 77th place Custodes? I guess so. Mr. Robert Parsons. With some Custodians. Blade Champion Trajan. Double Prosecutors. Double Custodian Guards. Wardens. Plus double Alaris Custodians. A Land Raider. Whoa! Okay. How did the Land Raider do for you? That's probably the biggest, like, questionable include, I guess. Because I think a lot of people just, like, run Venatari in that slot. So that the list is more maneuverable. Because that's usually the problem that Custodians have.
Thoughts on 10-man Wolfguard with Librarian? They take heirloom weapons and storm bolters add fire discipline to Libby. They hits on 2s in shooting +5.
Chat, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Peaches. I hope you're having a good time destroying over there. I'm just laughing. I'm laughing because this is the no Space Marine stream, but everybody asked me about Space Marines. I think that the 10-man Wolfguard brick is legit. I think that I don't know about the Librarian. What does the Terminator Librarian give you? Is he fights first guy? Or am I thinking of a different one? I think he's fights first guy. Terminator Librarian, where are you at? Here he is. Oh, sustained 1. Does that do anything? I don't think... Well, that doesn't stack with Fire Discipline, right? So I don't know if I would add the Librarian. Because the... Fire Discipline already adds sustained 1, so he's not doing anything for you. Yeah, I would cut him, and I would full Fire Discipline combo it out. You take a... you can take a Terminator Battle Leader who gives them lethal hits. That's the real reason that the Space Wolf Terminator Discipline brick is good is because they have access to a Terminator Lieutenant, which no other faction has access to. You would probably see Fire Discipline combos in other factions if they had a lethal hits outlet for the Terminator squad. Only Space Wolves have that. So it's really good in them. So yeah, I think you take the Fire Discipline out of Wolfguard Battle Leader, and then you add you can add a captain if you want, so that you get like free adaptive strategy or whatever. It's not quite as necessary, and he's an extra gun, which is nice. But then you do the whole wombo combo where all your guns lethal hit on 5s, sustained 1, and then so you just like fish for 5-ups with your OSIP moment. And then you get a bunch of Cyclone Missile Launchers on the top 2, and that's the other benefit. So the difference is like they're lower AP than the Aggressor Shot, but you get a bunch of D6 damage weapons that also benefit from the whole combo. So I think it's legitimately good. Yeah, if you take lethal hits on them, because their Stormbolters aren't doing much if you don't have it. Oh, this is just Wolfguard, like... Oh, I think I misunderstood. I thought you meant Wolfguard Terminators. We're talking about, like, basic bitch Wolfguard. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, actually. So he gives them the 4+ invulnerable, is that right? On the power armor guy? I just assumed we were talking about Wolfguard Terminators, because we've seen that combo a lot. Oh, gosh, what just happened? I unclicked it. Yeah, 4+ invulnerable save. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think I would almost always caution, or I think I would almost always take the lieutenant, like a Wolfguard battle leader, for sustain or for lethals, because I think you need the lethal hits on their weapons. What guns are we giving them? Stormbolters. And then they get heirlooms. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. I would probably stick with, like, Captain and...
Power armor, not Terminator.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the follow-up super chat. I would probably stick with the Lieutenant and probably a Captain, especially because you're saving so many points on not taking the Terminator version. So you're losing out on the Cyclone Missile Launchers, but they're cheaper, which is nice. What I have found is that the 4+ invulnerable save is not that useful very often, because most of the time you're on a 2+ armor. And then like largely benefiting from cover because it's 10th edition, let's be honest. So your opponent has to be AP 3 before it gets to the point that a 4+ invulnerable save would be useful, and you can just Armor of Contempt if you really need to get through that. And then if your opponent's AP 4, you're like, all right, man, I appreciate that, but your power armor guys are probably gonna die anyway. So like I was every time I've run the Primaris Librarian, usually in like Hellblasters and stuff, I've been kind of disappointed in him. So I would probably take a lethal hit outlet. Probably a battle leader or a lieutenant or something. I think that's the best spot for that. Plus the like a lieutenant's he makes the heirloom weapons much better because he gives them lethal hits. And then he also he himself, like the lieutenants themselves, are pretty legit in fighting because they're usually 4 power fist attacks, which is always good. I don't know if the Space Wolf battle leaders have different weapon loadouts that are interesting. Guess we could take a look. We have to search through all of the Wolfguard pack leaders, I think. Yeah, here we go. It's the regular guy. Oh, can I jump? Can I not jump into Wolfguard? Can a Wolfguard pack leader not join Wolfguard chant? Is that how that works? There's no way. What joins Wolfguard? Hold up. There's no outlet for the generics to join Wolfguard, is there? Can we take a regular lieutenant with them? Which is the Wolfguard data sheet? Here it is. If you can attach to Vanguard veterans, which I think a lieutenant can. We have to do the stupid like backtracking on Legends data sheets. Ugh, what a mess. Legends. Vanguard. It's the foot Vanguard unit, right? That's what we're looking for? Which I believe is Legends now. Because they only have the jump pack guys. Yeah, Vanguard Veteran Squad. Which is anybody who joins Assault Intercessors, which is Space Marine Lieutenants. Yeah. So I guess you can't do it with the Wolfguard guy. You have to take a basic bitch lieutenant, but that's fine. I think that will be okay. Yeah, that's what I would take, honestly. Just because I think the lethal... You need the lethals to unlock the Stormbolter shots and make them super dangerous. Deathwing Smarkmaster on Knights? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the same idea, right? Like, you can do the same thing in Dark Angels, I think, right? With, like, a big command squad or something. Yeah. Yeah, so we can't take the pack leaders. We just gotta take the lieutenant out of the codex, but... It's, like, basically the same profile. What a mess. It's weird that a Wolfguard leader can't attach to Wolfguard. But is it because, like, they have a pack leader already? Yeah, they have a guy called a Wolfguard pack leader, who's just worse than the character version of the Wolfguard pack leader, but okay. But whatever. Whatever. It's a little silly. Plus then you could add a captain too, and he can add more shooting, and also, because like the captains can get like 2 damage bolt guns and stuff, so that's pretty scary with the 5-up lethal hit. And then you can also, I think you can do that in the lieutenant too. Does the lieutenant also have that? I know the lieutenant gets a plasma pistol, which is nice. I don't remember if their bolt gun is mastercrafted. All the extra 2 damage shooting is like pretty swell though. Lieutenant. You can get a mastercrafted bolter. Yeah, so you can get 4 2 damage shots with lethal sustain 1. And then you get your adaptive strategy or your storm of fire for free, or your armor of contempt on the swingback. One of the 3 with your rites of battle, assuming that you don't have a rites of battle outlet anywhere else that you're trying to use. Oh man, they give you fallback in charge. Chat. I played that. I paid for adaptive strategy on one of these units yesterday. I didn't even read its data sheet. Hold up. What? I paid for a tactical doctrine, and I could have saved a CP. What a moron. Why are you watching my stream? I don't even know how to play this game. I don't know what my units do. Oh my god. That's hilarious. That's what I get for not reading my guys' cards. Incredible. How about using the combi bolters instead? The problem with the combi bolters is that like it's only good against infantry, and I don't think Space Marines are really like hurting for infantry sweepers, honestly. You know. I think the mass lethal hit shooting is the real like reason that the combo is good, and the combi bolters aren't that interesting in that. If you had a way to get reroll wounds, I think it would be cool, but you don't with the Wolfguard, to my knowledge. Because, like, you'd need to be in a different detachment, which then, of course, breaks the whole thing. Yeah, so they have devastating wounds, but if you are shooting at non-infantry, you're only getting it on 6s. So, like, you're hitting on 2s, fishing for 5-ups, right? The lethals don't do anything, because the lethals are then, like, you could Storm of Fire, maybe, to make your non-6... Like, assuming you're shooting at a tank, right? So, like, if you're shooting at a tank, you're winning on 6s, so your 6s are automatically going to devastate. So you're probably not Storm of Firing, because then you get, like, AP 1 ignore cover on your lethals, which are on nothing. You get it on nobody. So you get 5-up sustained ones, and you're rerolling if they're the host target. So you're shooting, assuming you're in rapid fire, you're shooting 20 times plus the smite. So, like, call it 23 times. So you'll get 8 5-ups, and then reroll 16 more into 5 more. So you'll get 13 extra hits, and then you'll miss like 4. So you'll end up with like 20 hits plus 13, so 33 hits, and then you'll roll out of that. You'll probably roll on charitably. You roll like 6 6s, so you do like 6 damage, right? I think that's only really worthwhile if you're getting rerolls, because then you can, like, spike it into killing something. Whereas, like, as we've talked about, the getting lethals on a higher volume with the Stormbolters usually makes more sense. But lethal and devastating don't have any synergy, right? So there's no... You're not, like... If you're fishing for lethals and getting devastating, which doesn't do anything, so you have to be rolling to wound, so you're only good for 6 damage. Whereas if you're shooting 40 shots with Stormbolters, rerolling it to 5-ups, and then those 5-ups are also lethal, the amount of extra damage that you do is, like, pretty significant. Because then suddenly you're getting twice as many shots, and then those, 50% of those shots or whatever are automatically wounding, and you're getting to roll 6s to wound, which does give them a save, but that's neither here nor there. So your expected damage with the Stormbolters and lethal hits is much higher than just combi bolters. But if you're shooting at infantry, obviously the combi bolters are going to be, like, probably better. But I don't think you nearly need infantry. Like, I don't know if Space Marines are really having a trouble killing heavy infantry. I think they have enough good big punching power to kill them without teching a whole unit into it. That's just my opinion, though. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Because if we're doing the math on the Stormbolter shooting, you're shooting 40 shots, rerolling, so you're getting like 13 hits, 13 5-ups, which are lethals, and then rerolling everything, so you're getting another 26 into like 8 more. So you're getting 21 wounds automatically that your opponent is then saving on probably 4s. So that's already 6 damage, and then you get your regular wounds on top of that, and you're rolling another like 40 wound rolls. So you're adding another like 8 or 9 saves probably. Or yeah, 6 or 7 probably saves. Which is why the lethal hit combo is so good. You just want like as many shots as possible getting lethal hits essentially. I do like it on the Wolfguard though. The +1 to hit on Wolfguard is a big deal, because that means that you can fish for wounds, and it feels good. All right, we got distracted talking about Adeptus Custodes, chat. Yeah, so I think the biggest question I have for who asked about this. What's your username in chat over here? With the cool Adeptus Custodes. Techers. My biggest question would be the Land Raider. Because I think a lot of people prefer to Rapid Ingress rather than Land Raiding. But if it works for you, it works for you. It's just a lot of points onto something that people are kind of prepared for. Generally, it seems good, though. I think it's, I mean, largely just sort of good Custodes. I wonder about the Vindicare versus Calidus, because the Calidus gives you more deep striking. If you need it to kill characters, then it's like understood. But the Calidus giving you another uppy downy on top of the Alaris Custodians means that you have something that can go perform actions, then you don't have to give away 140 point Alaris Custodian units for it. So that feels pretty good. I guess the Light Raider's a solid answer to Night Spinners. Is it worth 240, though, is the question? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, you don't have it? Oh, another Caladius. No, I'm talking about the Assassin, Jim. Like a Vindicari versus a Calidus Assassin. The second Caladius would have made sense, though. They definitely shoot better than the Land Raiders, but... if the Land Raider, like, because the Land Raider lets you deliver the Blade Champion a little bit more easily, because that your opponent then has to kill the Land Raider first. Although, I don't, like, do you have, can you Arcane Genetic Alchemy the Land Raider? Is that legal? Probably not, right? It's probably infantry only. Where's my Custodes sheet? Infantry, no! So, it doesn't have Armor of Contempt. That's like such a good, such a good benefit to the Land Raider. Because you get through, like, you get to save on 4s against AP4 at that point if they don't ignore cover, which is huge. And then, like, suddenly anti-tank weapons take the entire phase to kill you. And then, even if you're disembarking Custodians, like, you probably don't take any damage from the disembark because you have a 4+ save against it. And then you're just good to go. Whereas, like, without the Armor of Contempt, you're taking 30% more damage from stuff. So that's a little scary. Yeah. Oh, no Caladius, or no Calidus Assassin? Okay, I understand. I get you. Yeah, so I think that, like, the lists in Custodians that we're seeing having success are the ones that are really focused on mobility, on, like, uppy downy effects and rapid ingresses. So it's like Venatar units and big Custodian, big Alaris units. And I think that's the direction to go in for Custodians in the future, to be honest. I think that this list is basically a Space Marine list, but it doesn't have, like, Space Marine stratagems. And so I think a lot of people are prepared to deal with Space Marine lists. They're like, okay, I'm ready for a Land Raider Redeemer. I'm ready for Armor of Contempt. I'm ready for, like, big Aggressor bricks and Centurion bricks and stuff. And then Custodians are, like, doing the same thing, but, like, slightly worse. And you're just like, oh boy. So I think you have to lean into the Custodian strengths rather than doing the Land Raider stuff. But if that's the models you had access to, like, you know, that's what you're limited by. But, like, look, if you're looking to expand, that's the direction I would expand into, is more of the stuff that focus on the deep strike synergies, because that's what Custodians do, like, really uniquely. To my knowledge, I don't think any other faction can rapid ingress multiple times in the same phase other than Custodians, right? I think it's just them, which is, like, such a ridiculously powerful ability. Just being able to, like, see where your opponent moves and then be like, okay, my entire army, like 50% of my army is gonna land just outside your line of sight and come kill you next turn is really scary. Unironically, super, super terrifying. And if you can also take things like Witch Seekers and like Psychono Rhinos and stuff like that to, like, push their deep strike screens back, you can like combo out this super maneuverable list, which I think is really cool. All right. We'll continue our Leicester Super Major talk because it is the biggest event of the weekend. Do we have any other interesting top 5s? Speaking of Space Marines that we're not talking about, this guy registered Mantis Warriors, but it's just Ultramarines. Get out of here! That's just an Ultramarines list. Christopher Radford, man, register yourself as Ultramarines like a regular person. Hey, Chris Kinnair Barb, who we've streamed before, playing Grey Knights to a 4-1. Let's go, Grey Knights. Does this count? They have a 2+ save, so they're not really power armor, right? So they're like Sanctic armor. I think it counts. I think we can slip by with that by talking about Space Marines. They're called Necrons in disguise. Oh yeah, Barb is he loves Necrons. I remember, I believe it was I think it was Chris who registered an AdMech Air Force in 9th edition when it was super powerful in the T5S2 Invitational, and then swapped it for a Harridan list for the elimination stage, which was maybe the ballsiest list swap I've ever seen. And he unfortunately got gunned down very quickly. But man, would it have been cool to see a Harridan go all the way in a T5SU Invitational? That was extremely classy, I think, for the top 4. That's legendary. That's a legendary list swap in T5S2. Running triple Brotherhood Librarians, 1 First of the Fray, 1 Sigil of Exigence, Castling Crow, Lord Caldor Drago. 1, 2, 3, 4 Terminator squads. Let's go. Plus a Strike squad and a big Purifier squad. Quick, to the point. One is a 10-man Terminator squad. That's probably for Caldor Drago to make the charges out of. And those guys do get lethal hits on the charge too, which is pretty sweet. And then 3 Brotherhood Librarians. Yeah, so every single unit's attached. There's only 5 units in the list, and they're all attached, and they're all super dangerous. Man, I love this. This list rules. And we have a First of the Fray unit, so they can Deep Strike turn 1. So you get an opportunity. So you can put 1 Librarian unit on the table. You can put 2 Librarian units on the table. If your opponent gets super aggressive, like bottom 1, I guess you could uppy downy them anyway. But you could also use that guy to clear deep strike screens on turn 1. So if your opponent's like really cognizant of your uppy downies, and they like push forward with infiltrators or whatever, you can just drop this guy in a position where they can clear the infiltrators before the game really starts on top of turn 1. And that's pretty sweet. How do you do multiple rapid ingresses? The Venatari rapid ingress for free, even if another unit has rapid ingress already. Let's go grab them. Yeah, it's this one. Target this unit for rapid ingress, even if you have already targeted a different unit with the stratagem. So you can like put your Alaris Custodians in deep strike, pay a CP to rapid ingress, and then rapid ingress all of your Venatari for free, all in the same turn. So you can get like 3 or 4 rapid ingresses in 1 turn, which is pretty good. That's the strength right there. Previously, you could also duplicate it with a Alaris Captain too, Alaris Shield Captain, but that obviously they're not battle tactics anymore, so you can't do that. But that was nuts. So although Venatari were much more expensive, and they're much more reasonably costed now. They're still probably too expensive, but they're taking 1 to 2 units is pretty strong. Especially because they have a good profile into most things in the game. Like they'll kill a 10-wound vehicle fairly regularly on the charge. Especially if you can do a little bit in shooting. That helps a lot. Pretty solid Grey Knights list. I actually own most of this list. I kind of want to play it, honestly. I have all the Terminators. I just need more Librarians, I guess. But I have everything else. Love it. Love it. We talked about some Adeptus Sororitas. It's so many Space Marines. Space Marines. Eldari. Ooh, a Necrons 4-1 from Brett Smith and Adeptus Mechanicus. Let's go. I don't know how much should we talk about AdMech and Adeptus Mechanicus chat, because we're expecting points values for these new codexes like tomorrow, right? Or like very shortly. They're not like randomly up already, right? And I'm just an idiot. I wouldn't put it past myself. No. The Munitorum has not been updated since last month. So we're expecting these factions to get a total overhaul within the next, like, 48 hours, probably. This is triple Catan Shard, too. Dude, these Necron players and their classy lists. Triple Catan Shard is definitely the cool way to play Necrons. So we do have a big Necron Warrior brick, but it's not all the way in on the Silver Tide. 2 units of 3 Locusts with Destructors for anti-tank. 2 units of 3 Tomb Blades for utility. Cryptothralls, Scarab Swarms for doing actions. Cryptothralls go into the Warriors, plus a Lord with an Ablator and Organ the Diviner. So we're a 4+ save. No feel, no pain. But we're stealth cover, probably. Plus the Cryptothralls. Although we don't have the Ghost Arc is the one piece of the combo we're missing, but I think that's fine. You don't need the Ghost Arc if you're only taking 1 unit. 2 units, you almost certainly take the Ghost Arc, but 1 unit, you don't need it. No Nemesis Dread Knights in the Grey Knights list? Yeah, I think generally they've kind of been like, it's been decided that they're not very good. Let's talk about AdMech momentarily here before we move off this event. Triple Catan and the Teleport faction could be legit. That does sound good, actually. That is the big downside of the the character Catan, is it like, oh, they're like so much more damage than the Transcendent, but they don't have the advance anywhere on the table ability, right? So you're just like, they just wander around, I guess, and like awkwardly move around walls at 8 inches a turn. Like, cool. They'll get there eventually because they're hard to kill, but it's not great. And honestly, like, not having Sempiternal Weave, which to be fair you wouldn't get in Hypercrypt Legion anyway, is a little bit sad too. But that does feel really strong. We're playing that list. We're playing that list when the Necron points are coming out, chat. We're gonna play that on stream next week. Hand to my heart. We're gonna play Hypercrypt Legion with a bunch of Catan. Just imagine like Nightbringer, like 3-inch deep striking on your objective. He's just like, hello, I've come to take all your stuff and kill you with my death rays from my eyes. Zoop. Only Nightbringer does damage. I mean, Void Dragon's okay, right? Specifically against vehicles, but like, vehicles are so ubiquitous right now. Let's get his data sheet real quick. Correct me if this changed. Because he's anti-vehicle 2, D6+2. I guess that's all right. That's not huge. And then he's anti-vehicle 2, AP3, D6+2. It's at AP3. If this was AP4, it'd be sweet. But your opponent's gonna save like randomly 2 of them, and you're just gonna not kill him. All right, I get it. I understand. Although he gets 6 extra attacks. It's strength 6. Let's go. That's actually reasonable. Yeah, it's like, it feels like he's understated by 1 point. He's just he's been hit by the random reduction in the power level of melee attacks. And then Nightbringer has the super sick laser cannon. I guess like with their powers combined, they could probably shoot a tank to death. If they're both hitting it, assuming that your opponent doesn't Armor of Contempt and just like blank you on saves. It's a little random, I guess. But if you're teleporting them every turn, you can always teleport them into range, so feels good. And this guy just doesn't do anything, right? Anti-character 4 devastating. That's something. And then his punches really bad in melee. Yeah, that's too bad. He gets the shitty redeploy. Okay. I'm sorry, Deceiver. If he was devastating in melee, I think we would be talking. But I guess he's like anti-aggressors. He's very good at killing specifically aggressors. I don't know if you necessarily need that. Sempiternal can't go in the Catan anymore? Oh, thank God. It took them that long to fix that, to plug that loophole. Oh, we're only like 6 months in. They finally realized that they accidentally it gave the faction's best enhancement to a unit that definitely shouldn't have it. That's okay, though. I have a good track record at killing Catan, but only because I play Thousand Suns. It's the only faction in the game that can reliably kill that stupid thing. His character shot needs to be like 9. Yeah, or more damage, right? If it was damage 2, I think we'd be like, oh, sick. But the fact that it's like, you're gonna miss one, and you're gonna wound like 2 or 3 times. So you're doing like 3 damage. And I mean, fortunately, it is devastating. So you can see what you roll and then be like, all right, precise your character out. Or you could just hit the unit for like 3 devastating damage. But yeah, it's just like awkwardly underpowered. If he was just a character like laser beam, I think he would be interesting. But it's just that's not enough damage. That's not a big enough number. Make that number bigger. They gave El-Katan a 5-up built in on top of the half damage. I gotta read these codexes. I've been too preoccupied with snakes to read these codexes. That actually feels super sick. Actually, that feels much better. If all the Katana are half damage and a 5-up, feel no pain. Feels real good. All right, let's talk about Adeptus Mechanicus though. We're on the triple manipuli train, which I think is like sort of baked in. That's the one that we take all the time now. Oh, that's a techno-archaeologist. I like the techno-archaeologist chat, right? I've talked about this in a best armies in 40k video. The techno-archaeologist tech is really good because it's strictly an anti-inceptor technology. Like, Inceptors have the random opportunity to just, like, bone this faction, because you come in the back and you, like, kill their battle line units, or you kill their objective holders, or you kill or, like, you just plug a bunch of damage into a breacher team. And the Techno-Archaeologist is like, nah, no, thank you. I do not want. It is a little bit weird, because he's the only model with a 12-inch denial bubble, but that's good enough for Inceptors, because it overrides their 3-inch deep strike. And then the Manipulus gives lethals and a 4+ invulnerable save. And then the Cataphron Breachers, which I assume we're attaching them to. There they are. Double Breachers. We'll get rerolls when they're next to battle line units. I wonder what the third one attaches to. It has to be Skitari, right? Yeah. So the Master Annihilator, you get lethals and sustains with full rerolls on a unit, which is really good. The other one's a super duper, the super laser cannon. Interesting that we don't have an excoriating emanation from the third one, but we probably just ran out of points. And then we're running double Rangers, double Vanguard in 2 Dune Riders. So we can push the Vanguard to mess with people's objectives, because they reduce your OC. And then some Sulfur Hounds. A big Sulfur Hound unit. Holy crap. Is that just to clear out, like, utility units? Because they have really good flamethrowers? Let's look at Sulfur Hounds. That is Raiders. Here's Sulfur Hounds. So many weapon profiles of these guys. Oh my god. So each one gets the Flamer, a Phosphor Pistol, and an Arc Maul. Is that right? No, that's the Alpha. Everybody gets 2 Phosphor Pistols. So only the unit leader has 2 crappy 4-up attacks. Okay, whatever. That's fine. They do impact attacks on the charge. And it's rolled for each model in the unit. It's a 2+ if they're within 6 inches of a battle line unit. So holy shit, they're good for 5 mortals on the charge. How many points is this unit? This is actually like super sick. 110 points for 6 of them? Oh my god. Would have been it. Are these the sleepers that like we never saw play in this faction? Holy crap. They're 110 points and they hit you for 6 on the charge? What? That's nuts. And then they have 4 attacks. A little weird that the pistol guys don't have melee attacks. They only have the horse attacks. It's a little funky, but that is what it is. And then they have a strength 3 torrent weapon. It's only strength 3, which is not great, but it does have an AP, which is good. And they have awkwardly a phosphor blast pistol, not blast. pistol, but no blast. If that weapon was blast, it would probably be nutso. Because you'd be firing, what, like, probably D3 plus 2 plus D6 auto hits into whatever you're shooting. And then you can take carbines, which are strictly superior, but you don't get to shoot your flamer at the same time. What are we taking on these guys? Pistols. Oh, but they get twin linked if you are. If you have the, if you take 2 of them. Cool. Yeah, this list seems really, this armor unit seems really good, actually. For 110. Damn. There's a strat that lets you set up within 3, override the 12-inch bubble? No. No, Deep Strike Denial overrides everything. There is never a situation, if someone tells you that you have to set up X distance away from them, it overrides any rule that you have that sets up closer. It's in the rules commentary, which is why, like, the Omni Scrambler effect is so powerful, because it all those factions that are like, hey, I'm gonna tunnel crawl you, or I'm gonna like Denizens of the Warp, like 3-inch deep strike you, just blanks all of that stuff. So you're never like randomly losing your home objective against things like demons or Gene Stealer cults and stuff like that. Sulfur Hounds are trash? They look so good, though. I don't know, chat. I don't know if I believe that a unit that does 6 mortal wounds in the charge is trash. Like, I understand that they're really easy to kill, but I don't know. But they're only 100 points. They're not even that expensive. And to be fair, it is like 6 mortal wounds, like, kind of randomly, because you sometimes aren't in range of your battle line units, but this list is running tons and tons of battle lines, so I think the number of times that you can use them as a counterpunch is pretty high. Well, now I learned what Cerberus Sulfur Hounds do. That's pretty cool. Alright. We've talked about the Leicester Super Major. Ooh, let's close all of our extra tabs that we've opened over the course of this discussion. Let's move on to some of the other majors. Let's talk about Atlanta. So I do want to give a shout out to Z over here. I talked about his list on yesterday's video, but I think it's worth just discussing again really quickly, just because it's super sick. Because it has a foot Autarch in a Storm Guardian squad, plus triple Falcons with Fire Dragons in them. So it's like super different than normal, the list we're seeing normally. It's got a little bit of like the vehicle spam MSU kind of energy, because we have a lot of these little tiny low volume, high impact fusion attacks, plus all of the pulse lasers and Brant Lances. But it's not like Hornet spam and Warwalker spam and Viper spam, that like the normal kind of stuff we've been seeing. And it's no Wraithguard, no avatars, which is super sick, right? It's 2 Phoenix Lords, Karandras and Fugan, or Fuegan, sorry. And then a million. What are these guys? Aspect Warriors, sorry. So 3 units of 5 Fire Dragons, 2 units of 5 Striking Scorpions to infiltrate, plus support weapons. So we can create space with the Striking Scorpions and Rangers. We can like screen out opponents and body block them. And then that lets the D cannons deploy relatively aggressively and then like get shooting early, which is something that they oftentimes don't get to do because they're so fragile. If they deploy out in the open, they're just going to die. So you're trying to use indirect, but that means they have to be close enough that sometimes they get killed by enemy indirect, or they get killed by enemy like fast movers. But if you have so much of this kind of dangerous, I don't want to say lethal, but it's like relatively dangerous for a deploy, then your opponent is disincentivized from pushing too far forward. So you get to create space for the D-cannon platforms. And then, you know, worst case scenario, you just kill everybody with Fire Dragons once they get to the middle. And that list went, whatever, this is 8-0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-0. That's cool. You know, it is Eldar, chat, and I realize that it's probably broken. But man, is it cool to see not normal, oh, I'm going to put Fortune on a big brick idiots and then use Fate Dice on them, like normal stuff. I think that list is super sick. Blood Crushers? are randomly funny. Oh, Blood Crushers are great. I think Blood Crushers have slowly become like the best unit in Demons, but importantly, they are in Adeptus Mechanicus. Adeptus Mechanicus is a faction that's like kind of, it's like hilariously bad in melee, and having a unit that can just like change the melee math enough that your breachers start to actually do damage, I think is important. You know, doing 6 damage to somebody before the breachers get in with the arc claws feels pretty good. But it does feel like if the breachers get into melee, things are going wrong. So maybe the game plan is to kill everybody with guns before they get to that point. So interestingly, we had 2 Astra Militarum X1 at Atlanta, which is cool. David Purcell and Chris Daly, both with Militarum. The question of the day is if these lists are identical, because Astra Militarum has kind of broken down into a very similar list. Nope. This one has 3 tank commanders in it. Alright, fair enough. So they're both a platoon command squad, 1 tank commander. This one has Gaunt's Ghosts and Lord Solar. This one also has Lord Solar. But triple Demolisher tank commanders. Hot diggity damn, my dude. Plus 30 Catachan Jungle Fighters. A big Bulgrin squad. Hell yeah. The Bulgrins are cool because they give you something that Astra Militarum doesn't really have access to, and that is a unit that can A, move through walls, pretty cool, and B, doesn't immediately kill over. They're actually kind of hard to kill, especially if they spike super hard. So they're on Brute Shields today. There we go. So they have a 4+ invulnerable save, -1 damage, 6 up feel no pain, which is a pretty good combination. Plus, they're randomly 4+ saves, so they can actually benefit from cover if you're AP 0. So they go to a 3+ if you're AP 0, which is kind of fun. They're not too bad in melee, 4 attacks at 2 damage, which is okay. But yeah, I mean, for 160 points, like that's just enough survivability that they can probably like hold down the middle just fine, and they can deploy really aggressively. And if you're sinking a bunch of attacks into them, like you awkwardly have to put like anti-tank attacks into them to kill them. I mean, like you can maybe do it with high volume stuff, but they're toughness 6, so like strength 4 stuff will mostly bounce off. You're like winning on 5s and do a 4-up save and do a 6-up feel no pain. Like you'll get there eventually, but it'll take you a while. So if you're shooting your high impact stuff at them, it's not really a very good getting 18 wounds. Yeah, like 8 points a wound. And then sitting behind that, we have a Luminous Executioner for the +1 AP, a Basilisk Manticore, triple Scout Sentinels for the reroll hits, 2 Chimeras to push the Catachan Jungle Fighters. The Bulgrin can't go into Chimeras, right? That would be really cool. But I'm fairly certain that that's illegal. Plus, you probably want the Scouting Chimeras anyway. Where's the Chimera data sheet? Oh, you can. Oh, but it's too big of they take up 3 models, so not a 6-man squad. If we had a Stormlord, maybe it would be okay. Plus a Calidus Assassin. This list looks legitimately terrifying. So it has 3 scouting units that are going to go in. 2 of them are going to go into transports. Plus this obnoxious like forward deploy squad, or like this obnoxious like big meat wad in the middle. And then 4 backing up 4 Leman Res. So like if anything that comes out to kill this stuff is just vaporized by tank commanders. Tank commanders kill most, like everything, almost anything heavily armored tank commanders will at least trade for, if not just kill it and then survive. I guess there's no Tech Priest Engine Seers, which is a little bit sad, so we don't have invuln saves on the Leman Res, but it's kind of the same thing we talked about with the Librarian in Foot Space Marine squads. Like largely you don't really need it because they're a 1+ save and cover anyway, and you can smoke screen in worst case scenario. Snailspot Gaming, how's it going? Thank you for coming and hanging out. Yeah, hello, Mer. We figured it out. We got there. And then the other one, this one's called Dorn Zone Atlanta. I wonder how many Rogel Dorns we have in this one, chat. Everybody place your bets. Is it the triple? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, no! One of them's a Leman Russ! No! Whose list is this? How dare you? How dare you tempt me with the Dorn Zone? Is this David Purcell? No, this is the other one. The other X and 1. Chris Daly, how dare you? Why would you do this to me? I was excited for 3 Rogaldorns. So 1 tank commander with Grand Strategist, so Lord Solar, so we can order those guys. So we have a bunch of orders available for vehicles. 3 Jungle Fighters, 2 Chimeras. So the forward deploy module is the same. Oh wow, the Bulgrin squad is the same too. So all the forward deploy stuff is the same. Cyclops demolition vehicle is just 25 points for a single entity unit, so he can go do actions and stuff, and then explode when somebody wants near him and do nothing probably. Their explosion is like hilariously underpowered. It's like D3 mortal wounds sometimes, and it has a chance to fail as well. So you're paying 25 points for nothing sometimes. A little bit awkward. Demolisher. So another Demolisher cannon, plus an Eradicator for the AP, plus 2 Rogaldorns, 2 Scout Sentinels. Yeah, so beyond the infantry... Oh, it's 1 infantry, 2 Kaddish and Jungle Fighters. So the infantry is probably just sitting on the back line. Beyond the infantry and the characters, everything is a vehicle. The tank company is back. And the Bulgrin, I guess. That's rad. So the kind of the basic, the core module is the same. We're just trading tank commanders for Rogaldorns, essentially. And this one doesn't have any artillery, so there's no basilisks to slow people down if we need it. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but the basilisk is a little bit questionable sometimes. Occasionally it just like doesn't work on things because it only suppresses infantry, which is weird. Sick. All right. Well, Imperial Guard tank companies seem like they are very slowly becoming the way to play. Now this event was a little bit funny because it was 100 players, but they ran 7 rounds. So there's a bunch of X and 2s because they played like way more games that are necessary for Swiss, largely. I guess they did get down to 1 undefeated. So they played it down to a single Swiss, but I think there were multiple undefeated at the end. Or there was a potential for multiple undefeated at the end, depending on how the Swiss pairings went. So we have a lot of X and 2s that we'll talk about, including some Tau Empire. Namon Allen from US Army Esports. Played Farsight, Shadow Sun, no Cold Stars. Whoa, okay. Triple Ghost Keel Battlesuit. So I understand why we're playing Shadow Sun for the hit reroll aura instead of just the single target. We're running Remora Stealth Drones, plus a Riptide, triple Sky Ray, double Stealth, double Tetras. What do Remoras do these days? Are they good? That is not a datasheet I think I've ever looked at in 10th edition. To the point that I don't even have their datasheet downloaded. Look at me go. I'm so prepared for this video. Give me an Imperial Armor Index for Tau. Thank you. So there's 16 move flyer. They're not aircraft anymore. They used to be weird aircraft with no minimum movement, so they could go like anywhere they wanted, which is really, really good. They are OC0, however. They have a Seeker missile and an AP1 twin-linked burst cannon. And then they have a 6-inch reactive move. T6, 5 wounds. How many points? 80 each? That's a lot. They not... I guess like a 6-inch reactive move is pretty good. And they infiltrate. Oh, okay. They infiltrate instead of scout. I don't know if they don't feel quite as good as piranhas. Because they feel less... They feel like they're less cost effective. But they do move farther. And they are better for like... You can behind enemy lines turn 1 pretty easily. If you just like put them on a flank somewhere and they just like run 16 into the opponent's deployment zone. That feels like a pretty good outlet that not a lot of people have access to. Oh, they're marker lights too. All right. I'll buy it. I don't know about the points value, but I see the appeal. Seems expensive. But I guess we're doing like an infiltrator skew, right? Because we're running 3 Ghost Keel battlesuits anyway, plus 2 piranhas. So we're scouting and infiltrating almost the entire army. Yeah, the total number of infiltrators is nuts, because it's 3 Ghost Scale battlesuits, the Remora unit, plus 2 stealth battlesuit units, and then you have 4 scouting units as well. So you're just going to fill the middle of the table with idiots. And the Remoras kind of, like, play into that, game plan. With is this a fusion unit? Yeah, it's a fusion plus cyclic unit for Farsight to get the +1 to wound on. So we're kind of creating a lot of table space for those guys so that Farsight can actually come in 9 inches from people. Or come shoot people within 9 inches for his +1 to wound effect. Without being, like, too destroyed. And then you're just, like, holding down the midboard with Ghost Kills. And Sky Ray gunships. Seems good. That's pretty cool. You have 4 Seeker missiles? Yeah, oh, 4 total, you mean? Yeah. It's the same as Piranhas, right? Because Piranhas have 2 apiece. But Piranhas are like 30 points less expensive. Where's a Piranha? I mean, we might just be comparing them to like one of the best light vehicle units in the game, so I don't know if it's a fair comparison. Piranha's just like so good. And like you're talking about a fusion blaster shot versus like 4 like awkward twin linked burst cannon shots. Like it's probably a side grade at best. Here's Piranha. Yeah, each one gets 2 Seeker missiles and a fusion. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the comparison is particularly... Plus, I think 9-inch Scout is much better than Infiltrator, to be honest, because it's harder to screen and it's reactive. And they only move 2 inches less, but get an extra toughness. I guess it's like, I don't know. We're almost just out of Piranhas to take. Where did this one gun drone go, by the way? How come the Piranha datasheet only has 1 gun drone on it? What's up with that? Where did this one go? Did we lose it? Did it disembark? This one's also OC2. Yeah, we need to stop comparing things to Piranhas. Piranhas are way too strong. The double Seeker missiles on Piranhas is like so nuts. It's so much damage for a 55-point model. Oh my god. All right. It's a cool list though. It's very different than the normal like just put as many stupid good like battlesuits on the table as you possibly can. I like the forward deploy skew. I think that's really interesting, especially with how difficult to kill ghost kills are. And if you can find the damage out of them, like ghost kills will just pull, like carry the game for you. I have a sneaking suspicion that the ghost kills were like just unstoppable in that list. All right. Got a little runny nose, champ. Hope I don't have a cold again. I'm a little scared of that. We also have some Nick Kiefer over here. We've got some, not you. There we go. We've got some Leagues of Votann to talk about. One in here champion, one Grimnir, one Call. I know the Grimnir is popular now because he's basically a combat squatted Hearthkin warrior unit. You pay 10 extra points for him versus half of a Hearthkin unit, and he himself is like much better. He's an invuln save. He has a similar number of wounds, although he's more susceptible to multi-damage. Yeah, the whole unit's got a 4+ invulnerable save. It has 6 wounds, which is, I think, the same as the regular Hearthkin unit, because their Call has a wound drain. Oh, no. Yeah, so it's 1 more than a Hearthkin unit in total, although multi-damage kind of bones it. It doesn't benefit from this unless it's actually leading a unit, which is a little bit awkward, which usually you're not if you're in Sagittars. And then he himself is like a cool like D3 damage gun. Yeah. 6 shots, strength 6, AP 2, D3. That's like kind of legit. Plus you get 4 bolter shots, so it's like it's not dissimilar from a Hearthkin unit. And you just can save a lot more. The downside is that it gives up assassination, but it is what it is. Yeah, yep. filling stuff with filling Sagittars with stuff. So we have 2 Hearthkin Warrior units, so those are going to split into 2 of 5. We have a Grimnir that's going to embark into 1 transport. And I think it looks like we're putting the Iron Master into the last one, so that fills up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. And then everything else is on the table or reserving. And we've talked about lists like the... Oh, no, we have Chthonian Berserks to go into 1. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. We've talked about these lists in the past. They're basically... We're front-loading all of the scouting. So we have 2 Hernkin Pioneer units, plus 6 Sagittars. They're all going to scout forward. They're going to create, like, endless amounts of table space, because basically nothing in the game, like, chews through that efficiently. And then you're going to be able to dump 15 Hearthguard and 6 Thunderkin into appropriate positions on the table in round 2. Because very little armies can effectively screen and not get killed by Sagittars, because the Sagittars have good, like, chaff-clearing guns, and then also actually kill the Sagittars themselves. And then you just get to bring in a bunch of, like, hammer units and kill your opponent. Plus, it's, like, very efficient on tactical secondaries, because it has so many fast, like, cheap idiots that can go do actions and stuff. You can a lot of times just lock in deploy teleport homers, too, which also feels good. Yeah, it's pretty classic variety of Leagues of Votann. Looks like a couple of people didn't show up on the first day, which is unfortunate. Cool. All right, shall we move on? So the other one we have to talk about is Mary Slaaneschmus, which is a 6-0 or a 6-round major. I do want to give a shout out. These guys invited me to go over, but unfortunately, it's held on the other side of the country. I wasn't able to make the drive over. That would have been a long time. But I appreciate the invite, even though we weren't able to make it happen. Especially because I'm streaming this coming weekend too. It would have been tough. A lot of Space Marines. Holy shit! Chaos Space Marines, Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Chaos Knights. We're getting there. How many War Dogs in this Chaos Knights list, chat? Now some of you are going to get mad. Huh. Oh my god. He wrote an entire piece of fluff. Oh my god, it's so long. Holy shit. Oh, it's all the War Dogs. Look at them all! Alright. Normal stuff. I appreciate all of the effort into the background. Oh, here we go. It's a cinnamon scent of burnished tainted metal. I don't know if metal tastes cinnamony, but you know, it is for a Christmas event, so maybe they put the special scented oils on there. And then here's Space Marines again, Chaos Space Marines, another Chaos Knights. So we have 2 Chaos Knights in the top 9, and everything else is in the Power Armor faction. Oh my god. Oh, it's so much. 1+8. You went to that one? First GC since the Orcs Codex at 9th. Whoa. How did you do? Did you kill everyone, and did you secretly win the event? Who else thinks Ironstorm Centurion Devastators in a Repulsor are insane? Are they? Probably, I guess, right? Because they're hard to charge. I guess like they're pretty good. I'm kind of more scared of the Vanguard ones though. The uppy downy ones that can like rapid ingress turn 1 with deep strike. Or not rapid ingress, but they can uppy downy turn 1. Because they go into strategic reserves, but the WCW FAQ says that you can come out of strategic reserve bottom of 1 if for some reason if you have deep strike. Which I don't know if I understand, but that's what they said, so it is. Trial by fire. Oh, 1+8. I was happy you had a good time, man. It's all about the learning experience. We do have some Tau Empire over here. Own VOD, double Cadre Fireblade. Cold Star Commander and Long Strike. 1, 2, 3 Breacher teams. 1, 2, 3 Devilfish. 2 Crisis Battlesuit units. A Farstalkers unit. Cool. We're seeing a lot more Kroot more recently too, chat. Because I think I talked about a Kroot army that went undefeated this past weekend that had like Kroot double Hounds plus a Krootox. And we're just like, I think we're realizing that like the infiltrating and scouting is just so valuable for like that's kind of like Tau has sort of become like forward operators, the faction basically. They just take these armies where everything scouts or infiltrates, like the one we just talked about, right? But we have like Pathfinders, Piranha, Double Tetra, Crew that all forward operates. So it's like half the army in terms of model count. It's like half the army forward operates, which they kind of need because they don't really have charge rolls to get onto objectives. So being able to forward deploy to body block people and to prevent melee stuff from just like killing them turn one is pretty good. One last ride for old Necrons. Oh yeah, old Necrons can be a little rough right now. If people have the answer, oh boy, is that a little rough. This list is a little standard, kind of normal for what we've been seeing. Let's go back to our event. All right. Well, given that everything else is Death Guard, that was a little bit awkward. Or everything else is Space Marines, I should say. Kind of interested in these Space Wolves lists, though. Ooh, it was a Thunderwolf Cavalry list with Vindicators. Whoa. Okay, that's cool. That all operates at kind of the same range, which I appreciate. The one thing that people often take is like Lancers in that slot in the Stormlance, and it feels like the Lancers want to be so far away from the fight, and the Stormlance wants to be so close that the Lancers like don't always get shots because your opponent's like not really fighting in the same. You're not trading fire with people with Stormlance. It feels like. Chaos Knights and GSC definitely had the answer. Lost Transcendent and Lich Guard in the same turn to GSC. Was that just explosions? What do you call them? Demolition charges? Because they'll definitely do it. Most of the 2K World Eaters fully painted have Kroot pretending to be Jackals. Dude, if anyone like Xenos would fall to Khorne, it would be Kroot, right? They're like, guys, all we want to do is eat our enemies, and Khorne is like, all right, man, just leave the skulls, I guess. That's like sort of right up his alley. Had some interesting finishes. A bit more Adeptus Sororitas, some more Astra Militarum. We've talked about all these factions. We've got some Tyranids in Exum 2. Eric Tritt playing Invasion Fleet with a Swarm Lord. Let's go. Neurotyranid Swarm Lord. Double Gargoyles and Termagants. Double Maleceptor Exocrine. Neurogant unit. 45 points for 11 models, by the way, is like kind of sweet. They're just such an efficient unit. An Emissary and an Assimilator plus 6 Zoanthropes. It's kind of light on the ground. I guess it has the 2 Maleceptors, which is good. We're sort of taking a lot of the spot of the 3rd Maleceptor with these like 600 points of big idiots, but this list seems really strong. Interesting that it's in Invasion Fleet and not Synaptic Nexus, but I think we're probably valuing the 5 Blood Feel No Pain on the Maleceptors pretty highly. This definitely feels like it could be a Synaptic Nexus list. It's good. We did talk about Custodes for a while, chat. Yeah, we talked about... so we talked about some Custodes. Oh, this is a team event. We talked about a team event last week, which is kind of fun. But they are much different. You get those... They're just pushing so hard. These are all factions that we've discussed. A lot of team tournaments too this week. There are 2 big team tournaments this weekend as well. I mean, what a good weekend for 40k. Holy crap. I think everybody's getting their events in before the holiday season starts, right? So, Iron Cage, Warhound, GT, more 60-player events, big major level. Talked about these lists on Best Armies in 40k. Pretty classic Adeptus Mechanicus list, but it was very Sidonian Dragoon oriented, which is pretty cool. Cliff Russell went 4-1 with Astra Militarum. Did he play a meme? Yeah. Double Bane Swords, chat. Cliff Russell. I appreciate Cliff Russell so much because every time we see him on the on an event sheet, we know he's gonna bring us some spice. He's running Bane Swords, not Bane Hammers. There we go. So these are the big. We talked about these guys before. D6 plus 6 shot, 4 damage guns that give you a deadly demise on a 3 if they kill something. Oh my god. Let's go! We got a Hellhound to get rid of cover. 3 units of Jungle Fighters and Chimeras. We have a Lord Solar and a Platoon Command Squad to sit in the back. The Gaunt's Ghosts for utility. 2 Regimental Engineers to give 4+ invulnerable saves. 2 the big tanks, plus 2 units of Tempestus Scions for more utility as well. So lots of Deep Strikers. And then just the 2 big boys. Looking good, chat. And that went 4-1. I love it. You love to see it. It's super good for your Hellbrute. Lost its whips. Oh yeah, Hellbrutes are. They got a lot of pokey bits up in there. We didn't talk about any demons. I haven't seen any demons at X and 1 so far. We can make a bit of a deep dive for demons. I do have to wrap up in probably about 20 minutes here, just because we have to prep for the what do you call it? My stream afterwards. Got another Tyranids at X and 1. Byron Livingston. An invasion fleet. Double Exocrine, double Maleceptor, 1 Emissary. This is very... Oh, it has a Trigon. It's very similar to the one we just talked about, but big Monster Mash style. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know how much demons are seeing play right now. Let's go to the list. I always click on the wrong month. I don't know why it gives you like 3 months of forward when you do searches on BCP. It's kind of funny. Ooh. Oh, we got a 4-1 at Warhound GT. And we got one at WIT. Is this a team tournament? It is, yeah. 4-1 at a team tournament. All right, what do we have at Warhound GT? This is not a long list. Oh, I named all of his models. All right, that's cute. So Shalaxia Hellbane, Changeling, Keeper of Secrets, Keeper of Secrets. 3 Soul Grinders. How many models is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 6, 14. Easy. So 2 Slaanesh, 1 Tzeentch Soul Grinder. What does this Slaanesh Soul Grinder get? They all benefit their different ranged attacks, right? That's how the Soul Grinders work. Where are you at, Soul Grinders? Okay, yeah, so the Tzeentch one gets the big laser, if I remember correctly. The Tzeentch one gets, yeah, a D3 blast, D6 plus 2 damage gun. Only AP2 though, that's sad. And then the Slaanesh one gets the Scream. Yeah, which is 6 shots, 2 damage with Devastating. That's pretty good. All right, yeah, I can see it. We probably run out of like physical space with the to put like all 3 Slaanesh ones up in the top, up in the front, because they're so big, they're so, you know, like monstrously huge. So having one that can sit behind them and shoot 48 inches probably helps a lot. And then you're using them to kind of like your opponent probably isn't dealing with the Soul Grinders until they deal with the 3 Keepers of Secrets you're running at them. So the Soul Grinders can kind of sit in the back and hang out for a while, which feels good. Somebody hit the who cut himself multiple times on his Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, he's just putting up offerings to the blood to the corn, you know. Yeah, I bet this army looks amazing for sure. 100% agree. Just failing IRL dark pack checks. Yeah, just constantly taking D3 mortal wounds every time you're shooting with his units. If we're on the Demons train, we can talk about this 4-on-1 from WIT over here. This one's probably a little bit more spammy. We got Argath, King of Blades. Let's go. So Scarbrand, Celeste, double Skullmaster. So we're in for some Blood Crusher energy. 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Nurglings. 2 units of 10 Plague Bearers. Yeah, the Plague Bearers are pretty sweet, especially if you can 3-inch deep strike them. They're just mass OC2 upsec that can jump on your objectives. For 125 points, I think Plague Bearers are a little underrated. They're probably a little too expensive because they'll definitely die the turn they come in. But you have to kill them because they'll start locking your backline objectives. They're just hard enough to kill that you can't like trivially remove them because they're 2 wounds each. And just having like OC2 stuff that can really get up in your opponent's grill is like really good. And you can, I think, there is a character, I think it's the Bile Piper, that gives them +1 OC. So they go to OC3, which is like sort of terrible or terrifying. Yeah, oh, it's the Scrivener. Yeah. Which is pretty scary. I think that they get overshadowed of chaos by pink horrors, because pink horrors are better at standing out in the open and taking fire because they have a better invulnerable save and they respawn. Like 1 wound respawning is much better than 2 wounds. But I think the Plague Bearers are like, they're cheaper and they do a different thing, obviously. 3 units of Blood Crushers, 2 of 6, 1 of 3. Plus Fiends and double Fleshhounds. Oh, the Skullmaster. Oh, Argath, King of Blades is on the Skullmaster. Interesting. Not on the not on a Bloodthirster. It's just Scarbrand. But Scarbrand is buffing all your friends. Interesting that he doesn't buff enemies anymore, which I guess that was a big downside of Scarbrand in 9th edition. He was like, I'm +1 attack to everybody. Isn't that cool? And then like random idiots would kill him because he just had a 4+ save. Like a bunch of stupid. I once did like 4 or 5 damage to him with Demonettes because he engaged them, and I was like, I guess I'm 5 attacks now. And he just rolled poopy on his saves. But getting +1 attack on the big swords on the Blood Crushers is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't buff their horns, because the horn is extra attacks, which is a little bit unfortunate because that's Lance and Devastating if the Skullmaster is equipped. Yeah. So it's kind of some anti-synergy, some classic demon anti-synergy. But getting an extra attack out of the Skullmasters themselves is pretty cool because that's a very good attack. The strength 6, 3 damage is pretty solid. All right, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. The Corn Demon seems pretty solid. All right, chat. Let's do another pass here and take a look at some of the other events. Did I lose my place? I did. Oh no. Gotta reset. Reset our search. There it is. Oh, we have to sort by rounds. Nice. All right. Let's look at some other bigger events as well. Winter Warzone was like all power armor at the top here. Ooh, Colin, what happened? Oh no, the big 20-0 in round 5. Unfortunate. Sword and board. Did have an X on 1 Tyranids. Oh, and a Custodes. All right, we can go back to Adeptus Custodes. So all the people who are looking for some Custodes action, we can talk about them. Trajan Valoris, double Custodian guards. Big Alaris, or sort of medium-sized Alaris Custodian, I guess. Plus a Caladius Grav Tank. Double Sagittarum Custodians. Oh my god. It is not often that we see those guys. That's kind of cool. Let's pull up the Sagittarum Custodians real quick. So they have their heavy bolter profile, but they don't have the underslung profile. But once per battle, they can shoot the underslung profile to gain devastating. So it's 15 shots because there's 5 of them with devastating, and they suppress non-monsters and vehicles that they shoot at. That's pretty good. Is it 45 points of model good? I don't know. That's pretty good. +2 Armature Warglaves, Kyria Draxus. For the no shoot me please, and then she gains rerolls on her devastating weapon. We talked about this combo a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate Chad for telling me how she works. So Trajan goes in one Custodian Guard unit, the other one gets Kyria Draxus, and then she gives them a lone operative ability, and they give her rerolls, and she has a devastating wounds gun, which is like super sick. So she shoots a billion times and does a bunch of damage. And then a Calidus Assassin, +2 Armature Warglaive. So we're kind of moving out of taking Custodian stuff to take more armatures. It's a little sad, but it's cool that the Sagittarium Custodians are seeing some play. It's a little bit sad that they don't suppress vehicles, because I think that they would be much more reasonable if they did. Especially because you oftentimes want to be shooting the devastating wound shot into vehicles, and the fact that it doesn't do anything if it doesn't kill them is like a little sad. But they could, because you can't take them in 3s anymore, they could probably use a points cut, honestly. You can only take them in 5s awkwardly, which is like randomly not the same point, like unit size as other Custodian units, which is a little bit weird. So let's do some Tyranids in this one. This is Synaptic Nexus, a Hive Tyrant and Narrow Tyrant, Death Leaper, Gargoyles and Hormagaunts, 2 Neurolictors, 5 Zone Throbes, double Exocrine, double Maleceptor, Norn Emissary. It's like the same monster loadout we've seen in most of these lists today, which is kind of interesting. Okay. All right. Iron Cage. Had more Astra Militarum. Wow, look at these scores, too. An 84-point loss and 300s. Astra Militarum are kind of killing it. We already talked about this list because we talked about Clifton's list. But there's some other factions in here. We have some Necrons at X and 1. Nathaniel Bjorg. In memory of durable Necrons. Running a Locust Lord with a Veil, a Lord with Hypermaterial Ablator, and a regular Lord. Are we running double Lich Guard? 1 Lich Guard. Oh, yeah, it's a Locust Lord. So 1 Lord plus Oracan goes into the Warrior Squad. The other Lord goes into the Lich Guard Squad. We get a Technomancer for the Lich Guard Squad as well. And a Transcendent Catan. Plus a big Locust Destroyer brick. So it's just like 3 big bricks, basically, plus a bunch of utility units. It's kind of classic. And we have a Ghost Arc for these guys, too. Hey, we're all in on the Warrior brick. It's pretty good. Curious about the second place AdMech? I talked about that on the video yesterday, chat. You can look at that video. I've already covered that AdMech list. That's the one with the Sidonian Dragoons. It's just a billion Sidonian Dragoons. A bunch of fast, punchy boys for 50 points a model or whatever. All right. Good stuff. All right, chat. Does anybody have any other factions that we want to duck into real quick before we wrap up things here? I have to jump off in a couple minutes. But if anybody has any requests, then I'm happy to take a look at them for you. Otherwise, it's been a pretty interesting harvest. But I mean, I think you can clearly kind of see that the power armor, we're in the age of power armor right now. Like, even if it's not just regular Space Marines, the entire Chaos Space Marine super faction is performing pretty well. We saw a couple thousand Suns, lots of World Eaters, lots of Death Guard. And obviously a ton of standard Chaos Space Marines. And then all the regular Space Marines in there too, so like 80% of the top 5s or whatever, top 3, top 5 is all power armor factions. And to be fair, that is kind of proportionally appropriate, because if we look at the player count, right, Chaos Space Marines and Space Marines are probably 2 of the highest player-based factions. And then also in terms of like actual releases, most of the armies in the game are power armor factions. Especially if we split Space Marines into multiples. But we can see that it's the age of power armor, and we're just living in it for the time being. Have Grey Knights won any 10th events at all? Yeah, for sure. I just talked about an undefeated Grey Knights just yesterday. Grey Knights have won, I don't want to say lots of events, but they win occasionally. I think Grey Knights are I think that they're very good, but they are so hard to play that most people don't want to think about it. And they are a little bit matchup focused, like matchup oriented. I think there are some matchups that just screw them super hard, and it's a really tough fight. Some GSC. We can take a look at GSC. I think we're gonna do a list search for GSC here. GSC is in a bit of a sad spot, though. I think it's pretty clear that they were over nerfed in the data slate, and I hope that this upcoming data slate has some changes for them. I don't know if we're gonna see mechanical changes in this data slate, but hopefully we'll see some good stuff for them. Robin Roberts, the Gene Stealer Lord himself, the Gene Father himself, is went 3-0 at an RTT. Abominant Clamavus, double Kellermorph, cool. 3 Primus and a Reductus Saboteur. Plus 2 of 10 Acolyte hybrids, 1 of 5 Acolyte hybrids, 1 of 10 Neophytes, or 2 of 10 Neophytes, excuse me, and 1 of 20. Wow, this is all over the place. And then we are running Hybrid Metamorphs, Pure Strain Gene Stealers, Aberrants, and a Ridge Runner, plus a Cyclops Demolition Vehicle for the Action Monkey. Weird. Let's look at Hybrid Metamorphs real quick. I don't know if I've seen them before in GSC quite yet, but people are branching out a little bit, which is cool. I've streamed Robin before. He's an incredible GSC player, by the way. He's extremely good. Yeah, so they have a 3+ fight on death. And they're swinging with either 3 2-damage attacks or 5 1-damage attacks. How expensive are they? Are they 16 points a model? Oh my god. I guess they get hand flamers, which is cool. That feels like a lot, but I guess their melee attacks are pretty sweet. And then the call leader gets the strike profile at 5 attacks instead of 3. Interesting. So we have Pure Strain Gene Stealers. Do we have a Patriarch for them? We don't. So Pure Strain is just for a scout unit, I guess. And then no Infiltrator on the Aberrants either. So they're just ground pounding it or rapid ingressing. They might just rapid ingress, to be fair, which is probably fine. Interesting. It's just a little different. In fact, there's no enhancements at all. We're not even taking the Meticulous Planner. Is it the Vect? I think that's expensive. I think that's like 30 points, to be fair, which is a lot. Although in the Age of Space Marines, like, man, are Vect strong. If you can Vect Armor of Contempt, holy crap, does it feel good. It's restricting the usefulness of Armor of Contempt is like such a big deal. I unironically, and especially with Chaos Space Marines being so strong too and having access to free strats and CP, I think Vects are probably back on the table. I think like largely if you can take a Vect, you probably should. Because the like 2 of the top factions in the game are using battle tactics constantly. They're just really bad into like Eldar, I guess, but most of the other factions have really good battle tactics. And worst case scenario, you can hit their command reroll, which is pretty cool. It's just a bizarre one. Yeah, this is a weird one. But I know I mean, Robin is like he's known for just playing like off the wall jank. I know he was in for like 30 Pierce Reigns in a 9th edition when they weren't very good, and he's been bouncing around on a bunch of weird lists in 10th edition too. I wonder if he's on the docket for this weekend though. We might actually put him on stream this weekend if he's there. He was there last year at Everwinter, so there's a non-zero chance we'll see him this weekend and watch some of his bizarre janky Genestealer Cult play, which I would love to see. All right, chat. I think with that, it is probably time to give ourselves a little bit of a wrap up here. But thanks everyone for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Bit of an impromptu stream and a little bit of an interesting one. I think diving into the non-power armor factions for a little bit is pretty cool. We'll see what next week brings in terms of results. I'm hoping that we see a little bit of a shakeup, because I think like the Iron Storms versus Chaos Space Marines versus Eldar meta is getting a little bit stale already, but I think that's just from a 1,000-yard view. If you get down and dirty into the trenches, I think it's much more interesting to play than like the all Eldar meta, obviously. But right now it's like a lot of varieties of Space Marines fighting each other, which is, we're just in Horus Heresy, I guess. But yeah, please come hang out with me over in the Purple channel. We're going to be live over there in like 20 minutes or so from the end of this stream. We're also, I'm going to be over on at Everwinter this weekend. So I'll put some YouTube events up for that after the stream. So those should be live later on this evening as well. And yeah, that's what's going on. You can expect, in terms of video content, you can expect another rules breakdown video, hopefully tomorrow, but it might be Thursday. It depends on how long it takes me to edit. I've been putting more effort into editing my videos recently, so they take a little bit longer to get out, but I think the final product is nicer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. The views have definitely been nice, so I appreciate that. But we're going to be talking about reserves next, because those are weird and strange, and there's a lot of things that people don't realize about reserves. And yeah, that's exciting. And I might have another like meme list video up. It might be next week, because like I said before, those take a million years to edit, and I'm going to be at Everwinter all weekend, so that's gonna eat a bunch of my time. But yeah, that'll be coming. We also streamed some Space Marine over the weekend over on the Purple channel, and I'll put my gameplay up from that on the replay channel, because I think it's fun, and there was a lot of like really cool discussion that we had while playing. I'm certainly going to continue that in my spare time. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do, obviously, until next week, but the goal is to do a Space Marine retrospective once I finish a full playthrough. And we played some multiplayer. I'd like to get some multiplayer going in the Discord, so if you're interested, like, give me a ping, because right now we just have a couple people playing. We're doing some Exterminatus games, but we'd like to do some versus games if we can get enough people into it. But yeah, that's what's up. Johnny Mars, I appreciate you over there. But yeah, please come hang out with me over on Twitch in like 20 minutes. So I'll see you there. Just gonna take a quick break and then get set up for that. So yeah, we'll play some games, we'll have some good times, and I'll probably get blown up by Psy Cannons, which will be exciting. An exciting time for everyone. All right, well, cheers everybody. Remember to keep it classy, folks. Have happy wargaming, and big thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you later.